Hello and welcome back to Marineford TCG. My name's Joe, drink of the day is a Dr. Pepper, and today I've been playing some Blue-Yellow Nami. Just last weekend, we were able to see Blue-Yellow Nami get all the way to the finals of the Aichi CS over in Japan, taking on a bunch of aggro decks, Enel decks, and even Blue-Purple Luffy. If you haven't seen my commentated videos covering the Aichi CS, make sure you check them out. I'll have a link to the finals in a card on your screen right now. But today I've been playing with the list that won the tournament with just a few changes. So the big card that Japan has that we unfortunately don't due to some dodgy release schedules is this Oden. This Oden is really good into slower decks because it can't be removed from the field. You can just trash 2 cards to negate that. And you can activate main, rest 3 Don, and pick something else up to restand him, letting him swing twice. This is coming out in the Ace and Newgate starter deck, which Japan has had for months, but we're not getting until September. Don't ask me why, schedule is weird, but unfortunately we're not getting this guy, and he's pretty important. The only real replacement for this is this Lin. You can try the 6-cost Robin, but it's so often just not live that I think this Lin is the natural choice. It still keeps up aggression, getting resources out of your opponent, whether that's a life or 2 cards. It's pretty decent nonetheless. So at its core, this deck is an aggro deck, but an aggro deck with an incredibly strong defense. So your leader's effect, once during your turn, when a life leaves a life area that's yours or your opponent, if you have 7 or less cards in your hand, you get to draw 1, which is really nice for just making your hand even bigger, so you've got resources to defend yourself. And you've also got this leader effect to defend yourself. Don X1, on opponent's attack once per turn. You can trash 1 card from your hand, and then your leader becomes a 7k base power for the whole of your opponent's turn, which is kind of nuts. For just 1 brick, you can become half of a BY Luffy. It's really not bad. And this lends itself to sort of aggressing and tempoing your opponent out of the game, whilst having strong defense with this effect and the extra cards that you're going to draw. So the core curve of this deck, you're going to want to go second on 2. Ideally, you want to drop this Teach. You know what he does if you've played Doflamingo. Put 1 card to the top of your deck, then give something 2 rested Dons. This enables you to play on curve, stay aggressive with 2 extra Dons per turn, and still use your leader effect. For example, if you're playing a 4-on-4 and you've got Teach on the board, you can swing 7 and still use your leader effect in your opponent's turn, which is kind of nice. And although he does minus you a card, because when you take a life or deal a damage, you get to draw a card, that sort of offsets his cost. It doesn't give you any advantage, but it offsets the cost of those 2 extra Dons. On 4, you want to play either Cavendish, who when attacking draws 2 and trashes 1, giving you even more hand advantage, and it's a 6k body, or Kikunojo, who is also a 6k body. On KO, if your opponent has 3 life or less, you get a heal, which when you've got this many resources like Nami does, that heal's pretty good. And the trigger, if your opponent's life is 3 or less, you get to play her out for free. These 2 cards are really important into Blue-Purple Luffy, and whilst that matchup is very not great, if you can get these out on curve, you can get some pretty crazy aggression into them. They don't love dealing with these 4/6s, because they have that extra defense, they're easier to defend, and Cavendish gives you extra value, and Kiku, they kind of really don't want to take this out. They should, but it feels bad doing so. After that, you really want to slam Big Mum on 6. This is a great play. You trash 1, they've got a trash 2 or a life. And taking resources out of so many decks like Blue-Purple Luffy or Purple Katakuri is very, very strong at the minute. And because we get to draw cards with our leader effect, we don't really care about this trash 1 that much. It's definitely a beneficial card. One notable downside of this card is it can be Raging Tigered or put into life with the effect of 9-cost Lin, which does suck. Oden is definitely better, but we don't have him, so we make do. After that, on 8, we've got the kid. He trashes one of your opponent's life, taking away a resource and proccing your leader's effect. And then at the end of your turn, he gives you a cycle to dig you closer to those cards that are going to close out the game, such as the 8-cost Luffy. He's an 8/8 with Rush, which is bonkers. And then when attacking, you trash 1 card, bounce a 4, and then give something arrested Dons. This can bounce your own 4 if you just need to pick up a 2k that you've played on the board, or you can bounce your opponent's 4, which is great into some blockers, chump blockers, even some medium-sized blockers, or even just something like a Bong Clay that you don't want to be copying this Luffy's power. you can just get rid of him. It's great. In terms of some of the techs in this deck, you've got 4 Pudding. This is very stable. Again, it takes resources out of your opponent. The Nami deck is all around taxing your opponent's resources one at a time, and sometimes if your opponent gets a little crazy with the taking the life, Pudding can just punish that super, super hard. We also have this exclusive card, Nojiko. It's a 2-0 on play if your leader is Nami, bounce a 5. 2 Don to bounce a 5 is just incredibly efficient. This is a no-brainer, really. I'm not sure if I'd be playing this at 4. I have had a lot of matchups where this doesn't feel amazing, but setting your opponent back a whole turn for just 2 Don, it's pretty good. Also, at the end of the game, this can bounce most blockers. It's only really that 8-cost Katakuri that gets out of that. We also have 2 of the Nami. She's a blocker, gives you a really good cycle. Draw 3 and then put 2 on the top or bottom if your leader is multicolored. This is like Queen +1, just pure power creep on Queen, so long as you meet the multicolored condition, which we do. Doesn't come up all too much, but when you get this, getting that cycle is just sometimes incredible for digging you towards your curve. We've also got 4 Law blockers. He's just a little chump blocker. I've said it over and over again in these videos. Chump blockers are great at the minute because of the amount of boss monsters. And this one being able to drop for 1 is pretty good. And of course, because you have that leader effect, it's not even really a brick. 2 Red Rock to deal with big characters, and 1 Raging Tiger to deal with medium characters. The winning list was only playing Red Rock, but I do think Raging Tiger is going to be potentially more valuable over here. There's a lot of people that love playing aggro, and Raging Tiger is great into that. Also have 1 Red Hawk. This at 1 feels a little weird, but it's fine, I guess. You can pop an original 5 for 4, or it's just 3k for your leader. I would be tempted to potentially try out something like L4 instead, just for that extra 1,000 counter. But, you know, it's not too bad. Last but not least, in terms of your 2Ks, we've got 4 Zeus. You take a life and KO 5, and then that taking of your life procs your leader effect, so you get kind of crazy value. Hiyori is really nice to see early game to set up a Kikunojo in your life, and also procs your leader effect. And we've got 2 Satori because he's a funny trigger body. Doesn't come up a lot, but, you know, we'll take it if it happens. So that's the Nami deck. I'll have a bit more discussion about this deck's place in the meta at the end. But here are some games with Nami. Going second into Reiju. I don't love this hand. We really want to see one of our 4s. We've got the pick of the bunch here, actually. I think I will play out the Teach on 2. He could have a Niji, but sometimes they're not playing it. We're going to take this first swing. Get a Kid, not bad. See what he's got for 2. He does have the Reiju. Does he have the big one? Looks like he does. Draws 1,000 cards. Very, very good. We're going to... Do we want to go with Cavendish or Kikunojo here, right? I think the Cavendish is good in the first instance because we can maybe stack this into life to get a funny trigger. So let's do the Cavendish. Use the Teach effect. Put one of these kids on top. Put 2 on here. Swing him for 7. See if he wants to counter or take. If he counters, we get 2 cards out of him, undoing his Reiju. If he takes, we get to draw as well. Cool is going to counter. But that Teach, right, let us use the 4, play the 4 cost. And we've still got a dot on our leader for our leader effect, which is going to be pretty important on this turn. We know we're drawing into another kid as well, so we can pretty happily discard this kid. Next turn, I think likely to be a Big Mum turn. We're going to use the card action here, discarding the kid. Resolve that there. We've also got this Cavendish that's just going to help us draw even more cards. Does have the Black Maria. That's not really going to do anything, but it will let him draw a card with his leader effect, which is pretty cool. So we're going to start with the Lin here. I think I'm going to discard the Kikunojo. And give him the choice. He either trashes 2 cards or a life. It's pretty good, right? Pretty good. He ditches a Gamma Knife. I mean, happy to see that go. Let's draw a card with our leader effect. We get us a Tori. I'm going to attack in 6 on 5 with the Cavendish. Going to Teach and a Nojiko. Nojiko's okay. I'm not sure we need double Teaches. So I'll discard him. He's going to take that one. And then we'll send the Nojiko to the top, put 2 Dons here, and swing him once again for 7. I really like to be as aggressive as I can with the Nami. Because, I mean, look, we've already got him down to 1. Next turn, we can Kid and potentially win. It's not going to happen because he is going to be able to develop blockers this turn. But we're really just piling on a lot of pressure, right? And if his hand is big, this doesn't fire, which is great. We do see the Chiji come down, looking to remove our Cavendish, no doubt. Draws a card with his leader effect. We know he has one of these in his hand at least, just a 1k, but, you know, it's one of them. 5 into 4. There's no point defending this, because he's just going to swing into it with everything anyway. So we'll just let him have it. We'll take this one, because this might just be a chopper blocker for 2. It's a Yonji. Oh, it's a Yonji block. Okay, he's actually playing the Yonji blocker. That's kind of cute. So this can't be KO'd or rested. Right. Good to know. Good to know. But we can certainly bounce it with Nojiko. I don't think I want to do that this turn. I think I want to do that next turn. We're going to go with this, use the card action, trash his life, get rid of a Yonji, and then we'll draw a card. That's not bad. I'm going to use the teach effect, putting the kid on top, and then we'll swing 7 with lead into lead. He's got to give us 2 cards or this blocker. Oh, this can be KO'd or rested, actually, because he has a Black Maria on the board. Let's go again, 7 on 5. This might just eat the blocker if he doesn't have 2Ks. Excellent. We don't need that kid. Definitely not. He's got no life. Reiju does not play away to heal. But we've had some pretty crazy aggression here, right? So long as we can... I don't know. I mean, we've even got the Luffy, right? So if he just plays out 1 blocker in that Yonji, it's kind of gaming. And Judge discards his entire hand. What did he ditch? He ditched an Ichiji and a Yonji. It's going to summon all the boys. Very nice. But he's only going to have 1 blocker. And we've got the combination of either Nojiko or this Luffy. And we're going to keep our board as well, I think. So I think this game's just over. Unless I'm missing something. These Ichijis can obviously attack into our tapped characters. Maybe he can bring the Lin down to 5 and clear the Lin. But he's not going to be able to clear anything else. Cycles out the Reiju into a Reiju, draws a million cards. There's another Ichiji. Gonna go for that Lin, I would expect. No, gonna go for the kid. That's greedy. That's very, very greedy. You probably get the Lin. I don't think you ever get the kid, right? We're not going to use our leader effect. But we will discard this Nami blocker. Yeah, we're not going to use our leader effect again, but we will discard 1 Nojiko. So long as we keep 1, we're gaming. There's the Yonji. Cycles out into the Yonji. Very nice. He could have swung with his leader. It doesn't matter. We're just going to go with the Nojiko. Bounce this. Then we'll swing in for 9. And then we've got big numbers as well. We've got the Don with the teach. This game's over. Very nice. We'll go 11 with Lin. And that's the game. And just like that, we were able to aggro down the Reiju deck, right? They're pretty fast. Hey, we were able to be even faster. Our curve was very, very nice there. I can't lie, but hey, GG to our opponent. Let's move on. Got him into Katakuri. Now, he likes first. I kind of like second. I think I'm going to take that second curve. We have a Hiyori. We don't have anything really to put there. We could put a red rock there. It's not the worst. And we can just use it to draw a card. We've got the Cavendish on 4. I think this is a keep. I do think this is a keep. The law is tempting me, but I think I will go with the Hiyori. Use the card action. We'll just take 1. Teach would have been nice on 2. Let's put the red rock there because it can be a useful trigger. And then we'll draw a card. And then we'll pass it over. We'll see if he's got that pudding on 3. Does have the pudding. So now we could trigger the red rock and get rid of the pudding. It stops his ramp next turn. I think I will. Just get rid of that pudding. Right, the teach. He's great, but I don't think I want to do him this turn. I really want to develop this Cavendish to start cycling. Do we have a 2k, though? We don't have a 2k. Maybe we do want to do the teach here. Just that we have a Don on our leader. We can do teach swing like 8 with the teach effect and then play out the law still. I think I like that. Yeah, I think I like that. We'll put... Doesn't really matter. We'll just put the kid on top. 2 Don here. Swing in for 8. Draw the kid back. Yep, very nice. And then we'll just play out the blocker. 5 could be Peros Pero. It is Peros Pero. He's got his optimal curve. Very, very nice. I'm going to use the card action here. I think I'm going to discard the Cavendish at this point. We'll go no blocker resolve. Then he can ramp back with his Peros Pero. Might have like a chump blocker or a searcher to play. Discards a 2 cat, which is interesting. And does have an Anana. Nice. Okay, so we're going to go with the Lin Lin. We'll ditch one of the kids, and then we'll go from there. He's got to discard 2 cards or a life. Very, very nice. Discards 2 cards. Works for me. We'll send the kid back to the top. Put 2 Dons here. Swinging for 7. He's going to block. Sure. Doesn't want to give us our leader effect for this turn, which is fine, but it's not amazing. You know? We're going to take 1 swing here and then block the other, I think. Goes with the Bon Clay. That grabs the Searcher. Pudding grabs the Kata. Sure. And then what we got? 7-7? Or 7-8, I suppose. We'll just take this one. No trigger there. And then 7. Doesn't use his effect, which is a mistake, because you can just ramp back with this. Do we want to take again? Not overly. But... And he can rest blockers. I think we'll just block here with the law. Okay. Okay. So what's the move here? I think we want to go with the kid. And then try and take out this Peros Pero. Hiyori's alright. Let's go 7 into the Peros Pero. Because we know one of these is a Katakuri, right? So this could well go through. Let's do this. Put the Nami on top. 7 more into the Peros Pero. Please don't have a counter. Oh, we got there. That's a W. That is a huge W. We needed that gone. 9 into 7. Yeah, we can't do much about that. I'm not saving that. Ooh, that's pretty grim. So his 2-card hand was Rush, Lin Lin, and Kata. Ugh. That's not nice. I don't love that. We've got to counter this one, realistically. We'll get rid of the pudding. That's not doing anything. Yeah, we do draw into the Nami blocker, which is something at least. Let's go 1 into 1 on the Mr. 2 with the Hiyori. But we are not in a great spot. He saves it. So we know this last card is a Kata. So if we put 7 Dons here, we can take out this and take out this. If he plays for 5, we'll only have 4 more. Yeah, we can't... That's 7, right? Yeah, we can take out this and take out this, and we can do the Hiyori to get our leader effect. Because we know this is an 8-cost Katakuri. So this is guaranteed to go through. Yeah. Shouldn't have defended that, I don't think. We can teach or we can Hiyori. Developing another teach could be good. Let's just go with that and then pass it over. But we're not in the greatest spot here, you know? He's just going to go lead. We'll take this one. We've got to. Another teach. Not really what I was looking for. Neither is Satori. Okay. Let's go with the Nami. None of those are useful. Drawing a lot of not great cards. Let's bottom the teach. And the Satori. Let's go 5 with Teach. It's going to use a leader effect, sure. We can go 5 with Teach again. Draw that card back. Then we'll go 8 with Lead. He blocks and gives us 1k, sure. Is this a Linlin? That'd be kind of rude. I think we should... Do we take this one or do we defend this one? We do have our blocker. He does play Uso Hachi, though. But we can get out of a big leader swing. If he Uso Hachis. Yeah, we can get out of a 13, right? We can go to 7. Yeah, we've got exact counter there. Peros Pero. Not crazy. This is going to be 7 into 3. And we can block 2k this, save our Teach. 4 Don for something. We're not going to do that. He leaves. Damn, that was... I think... Do we win? So I'm going to block 2k that every time. This 4... Is this really for Bonclay? You're not playing that, right? He does 4 into the Teach again, which we can 2k. Then on our turn, this stands up. He's got 2 life, 1k, 1 blocker. We've got, realistically, 4 swings. We're drawing a Kid, which we could play, actually. Kid trashes that down to 1. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 swings. These attack for 5 for free. But he does have leader effect. I'm not sure he lost that yet. That's a real shame, because that was a great game. I'm going to include this one anyway in the video. If you want to work out who would have won that one, go ahead. I'm not 100%, but I do think we had a decent shot there. We're going first into Purple Luffy. Not in love with this hand. The Raging Tiger could be cute. The Linden's okay, but I think I'll mulligan. Yeah, we've got a bit more early game there. Let's go with the Law. They do play ways to rest this, but not for a couple turns, so we'll go with that here. He's got Law of his own. See what he searches off of that. I think this turn I'm going to go with the Teach, just so that we can guarantee the draw. Or, well, all but guarantee the draw. We'll send the other Teach there. And then we'll just go 8. And we've got this Teach for future turns now, just to increase our aggression. I very much doubt he counts an 8 on 5. He could, but it would be a little crazy. 2 2Ks I'll definitely take. What did he take off the Law? He took the Nami blocker. Yeah, and does take. We'll draw the card back. And then pass it over. He's going to ramp up again. Very, very nice. We'll take this one. Cavendish is good. That's going to be a good play this turn. So is Kiku, though. And I think I actually do prefer the Kiku. So we'll go with the Kiku. We'll use the Teach. Put the Cavendish on top. And then swing an 8 on 5 again. He might counter this one with 2 2Ks, in all honesty. And I think he is very, very much considering it. But no, takes again. We'll happily draw the card back. And now we've got this Kiku that he's not really going to want to remove. Sanji going to rest the blocker. Nope, going to rest the Teach. Okay. That's fine. That is fine. Does this Bonclay attack? This Bonclay does attack. Okay. Well, then we'll use the card action. We'll discard the Cavendish. No blocker resolve. And then the Sanji can attack for 7. Do we want to counter this, or do we want to take? I think next turn we're going with Linlin, so we kind of need cards. I'm going to block, actually, because he can rest these with more Sanjis, right? I think that's the move. We'll go... 6 Don for this. Trashing one of the Nojikos. And he has to trash 2 cards or a life. Probably going to be 2 cards right here. You would assume. Goes with a life, though, and trashes a giant. I mean, I'm happy with that. Let's go to this Bon Clay. Really? I don't know what to think about that one. Just trashed a 2k for no reason. Okay. Well, we got a 2k out of him with the second 6 anyway, so could be worse. Next turn, we can Kid trash his final life. I'll happily take down to 2 here. I don't want to take a 5, though. That would be a little crazy. Assuming this is like a 9-cost Luffy, maybe. I'll take this one. If this is Luffy, I'll take down to 1, I guess. It's Kata, sure. Okay, well, we are somewhat in danger, we do have to consider, but we are a 7k leader as well, so it's not that bad. Let's go with this, use the card action, trash his life, draw a card. We get a Pudding, that'll be nice for next turn, but we're kind of going to eat a lot of counter this turn anyway. So, you know, there's that. This is always going here. Let's start with a swing of 6. Then let's go with another swing of 6. Eating those 2Ks. Very, very nice. No point swinging with the Linlin, because he can just block with the Kata, so we'll just end the turn. Draw 1, trash 1. I don't think we need the Teach at this point. Now, if you want to take out any of our board, this is going to heal us. This is enormous. He needs to heal, really. If he has the 9-cost Linlin, getting rid of our 6-cost Linlin would be an incredibly good play. But he's got to have it, right? And we're going to use the card action. We'll ditch... I doubt he's going to draw many cards, so I'm going to ditch the Pudding. His resources are already very low. Seven on 7. What possible aggression can he have? If he has the 9 mum, then that's 9. He's going to hold this, so this is only swinging 8, and we can counter that 8. Luffy's not bad if he plays a blocker. We've also got the Nojiko. Okay, Nami. Are we going to see him hold up like an ungodly amount of Don and just swing big with his Kata? I would not love to see that. I would not love to see that. But we do have 3 viable attackers, right? 12 into 9. No, thanks. Not in the slightest, my friend. Kata stands up, okay. Kid is completely useless. Right, so... do we want to play this here? This removes one of his blockers and gives us an extra string that does weaken our other swings. It's probably worth it though, right? We can still do 7 with both of these. Let's start with 7 from... let's go with the Luffy first. Attack here. Trashing the Kid. I think. Yeah. Put a Don. We can go 9. 9 is a good number. Do we bounce first? Yeah, we bounce this. I'll go 9, because 9's a good number. There's the giant. We do eat through that. And we do eat the Bon Clay. So we know he still has the Nami. 7 is an alright number. Let's go 7. Because this blocker doesn't matter. This blocker has to block the Kid swing. 0 cost. Okay. Okay, 4 cards left. So we've got 6, 7, 9, right? Let's go with the 6. Can he counter the 7? We get the Kata gone. We kill the Kata, so it's... maybe? Is this winnable? We get that. We'll discard... I guess the Nami? He's got to go for game here. That was incredible that he lived that. That was very, very good for him, obviously. 2 Don here is 7, so it's 11-11. I think we die, actually. Yeah, we just die. Does 10. Yeah. Well played. Yeah, no trigger there. GG's, that was a close one. I bet I could have done something slightly better there. Yeah, I want... Oh, there was a red rock. There was a red rock there. I don't think that changes anything. But wow, exact counter. That's crazy. Could I have done my swings any better, I wonder? Let me know in the comments. But damn, that was a crazy one. GG's to our opponent. Well played. Let's move on. Got a game into Luffy. Let's take second. Nothing too crazy. We do have a 4 cost, but I think we really want to see a pretty crazy hand in this matchup. Okay, we've got the Kiku. The Kiku is better than the Cavendish, because he's not going to want to get rid of it. Rest of the hand is alright. Kid on 8 is nice. We do need the mum. Ah, hello. We've been spotted. Time to lose. He's going to have nothing on 1, I expect. But yeah, we need to see that 6-man, really. Another 8 cost Luffy. Not quite what I was looking for. We'll just put a Don on our leader so that we have that leader effect online should we choose to watch it. Should we choose to use it. And then we'll pass it over. 3 Don, see if he's got a ramp or if it's just a 9. I'd love if he I'd love if he doesn't have a ramp, but you know, you've got to assume they've always got it. See what he's got here on 3. Got to expect they'll have a ramp. Maybe not. Maybe just 2 for a blocker. Either way, I think... do I want to take this 7? I don't mind taking this 7. That's... I mean, that works out pretty good. Sometimes lucky, I guess. 2 for Bargwa, I'm guessing. We'll go 6 here. Yep, we'll draw a card, and then we'll play out our Kikunojo again. 2 Kikus on the board on the 4 Don turn is kind of crazy. If we're going to win, this is a decent shot at it, right? We do need to protect this one, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see if we can. Obviously, don't really want to give 2 cards here. But he didn't. He whiffed the ramp on 3. Let's see if he has it on 5. Maybe a Bon Clay, right? Bon Clay is pretty good. There he is. I don't really value this Zeus that much to get rid of the Bon Clay, given that we become 7 anyway. We can just pudding him next turn, which honestly, we don't have anything much better, so I'm going to give this Zeus here. 2 Don, I don't think does very much. Maybe a Bargwa again. But you see the nice... Oh, we do get the Lin. The Lin into the kid is a good curve. And he's not got his leader effect online next turn, but Pudding takes 2 cards, but doesn't establish that body. He's very, very likely to trash if we do give him the Lin. We wouldn't get to attack with our leader if we go with Lin. I think I'm going to Pudding because we know he has this Bargwa that he wants to use. So we're going to go with the Pudding. Then we'll go 6, 6, 7. Get some cards. I think it's slightly better than the Lin. You be the judge on that one. You be the judge. Sniping cards because he's left these Don... Like, 2 specifically. That just reads Bargwa, right, to me. Which will ramp him up all the way to 9. And then 9 is a much better number than 8. Because he could do something like 9 cost Lin. If we can prevent that ramp with the Bargwa, whilst sniping the cards with the Pudding, that could be pretty crazy. So we've got 6, 6, 7 here. That's going to be realistically 1 life, 2 cards. Yeah, it gives us a 2k for that one. See if he's got another counter card. Gives us a gear second. I'll take it. And then we'll swing him for 7. And he's going to take that one, and we get to draw a card. Cool. End the turn. So we don't have a lot of counter. It's something to note. If he does try and remove our Kiku Nojos, we're not in a great spot, but I'm just going to hope they're on KO, healing us. He's going to sort of disincentivize him from doing that, right? 8 Don, his best play here is probably Katakuri. We can at least protect one of the Kiku Nojos. And you never know, he may not even want to swing with the Bon Clay. So there is that. We'll just have to see here. We'll have to see. He is getting low on resources, right? Because we've had that crazy aggression. That trigger at the start was very, very lucky. 6 into 5. I'll use the... I'm going to take, actually. I'm going to take, because I want to defend these. No trigger on that. Okay, that doesn't really help. That doesn't really help. Well, now we'll use the card action. We'll discard one of these. Linlins. We don't need 1,000 of those. Oh, and he does have the Raging Tiger. That is brutal. That is brutal. Okay, okay. Well, I think here we want to Luffy. Let's remove this Bon Clay. You're never saving that. Yep. Then we'll go with this. Attack in for 8. Trashing one of the kids. Bounce the pudding. Put a Don on leader. The Raging Tiger there was very, very good. Smart play from our opponent. Druint is like probably one of Raging Tiger off the pudding. It's kind of crazy though. We'll hit him with another 6. Get one card out of him. But he's very, very low on resources now. Although his leader effect will be live. Unless he giants. Gives us another Bon Clay. Okay. So now he's going to get his leader effect online. But we've got our Luffy, right? So even if this is Sanji Linlin, he's only going to have 1 life. Does get a Gum Gum Giant. That's going to be really good. But if he Linlins, he can't Giant and still have his leader effect next turn. Let's see what he gets here. 10 Don. This leader is only ever really going to attack our leader unless he's doing something crazy like just playing Nami blocker. Can't afford to attack the Luffy unless that's the case. And I'm not sure that would be the optimal move regardless. So we will just get to use our leader effect to get out of this swing. This 7 swing. Or 6 swing. Should be 6, right? Because he'll want to use 9 non for something. It does just go with the Katakuri. So we can just Red Rock that. Yeah, we can just Red Rock this Katakuri. And then swing in at face. Big. He's going to have to use lots of events. He might survive. But he's probably not going to be able to use... Oh, okay. He has the Chopper as well. We'll just use the card action here. We'll ditch the... Kid is probably not useful. But it's probably more useful than the Linlin. So let's just ditch the Linlin. So we can Red Rock the Katakuri. And swing in for 8. And use Luffy's when attacking to trash the kid. Bounce this. And put a Don on leader. And then we get to swing 10 into 6. And that should be the game. Yep, 2k, 1k. And 10 on 6. Unless this is 2-2-1, which I very much doubt it is. There's always a brick in Luffy's hand. I mean, in fact, we know one of them is a giant, right? Yeah, we know one of them is a giant. GG to our opponent. Slightly rough draws there. No, only getting the 1 ramp. But that's kind of what we need as Nami. This matchup is rough. So you kind of need them to have a little bit of a tougher shake of the stick. We saw that in the finals over in Japan. And we've seen it once again. So, what do you think of those games? This deck is genuinely very fun. You have a lot of aggression, a surprising amount. You can even out-aggro some of the aggro decks, which is hilarious. Just because you have this leader effect. So if your opponent is a deck that's based around swinging 5s and 6s, the deck kind of just doesn't work. You sort of saw that in that Reiju game, right? That was a pretty good showcase. There's definitely some decks that can get there, and the Katakuri blocker in particular is very annoying. Because it's costly to deal with, you only really have Red Rock. I don't particularly want to play 10 cost Kaido. And then sometimes decks can sort of sit at 0 with one of those Katakuris and events, especially purple decks, you don't get value out of your leader effect. So you sort of slowly lose resources. And if they're developing massive characters alongside, it can be hard to get the job done sometimes. We did see that in the finals with the player being a little afraid to fully go out on the blue purple Luffy. You do have to pull the trigger at some point with this deck. It's not always a math win. Sometimes you just have to gamble on them not having like all 2Ks. It is what it is. But I do think this deck has a decent shot, especially if the meta shakes up a bit with those starter decks, which I've been playtesting them a little bit. I think they're pretty good, especially that buggy one. That buggy one, I've got my eye on him. He's pretty spooky sometimes. Purple-black Luffy as well, I think, is going to get some major buffs from that deck. That 6-source Luffy's crazy. As soon as those decks are on the sim, I'm going to have videos with all of those buffed leaders. But for now, we're going to continue with OP11. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.